should be about what's my savings rate, what am I basically contributing every month to my retirement fund, or what am I contributing to my investment fund, or whatever it needs to be.
Yeah, I think to think about how to gain $3,000 instead of like penny pinching.
Yeah.
Like let's save $3.
Yeah. It makes no sense.
I would
to me.
agree.
Yeah.
I would agree that much better to think about income streams.
Definitely.
Than to focus on where can I save.
And I think the best advice that I ever received was literally Sanity over Vanity, which is a very old age sort of like term, obviously, but it's true. Don't get sort of fixated on the shiny sort of sexy objects. Go to your everyday sort of like places that are going to give you that most value. Yes, they might be a bit boring and they might be slow to return the money that you want, but they're the ones that make the money over the long term.
They say that sell things. A lot of people make their millions on selling not so sexy things. You know, like I don't know, grapefruit, toilet paper.
Yeah.
Right. It's just not
exactly.
like the
everyday
the
essentials.
luxurious things that we see.
I mean, you can make money from those, but obviously it's how much you're going to make from it, and is that sustainable over a long term? Probably not.
How much money would you want to prepare in order to retire on a remote island?
On a remote island, I don't think I'd really need much of us on a remote island, but like, because obviously you can fish in the sea and you can drink from the coconuts in the trees, and but I think in an everyday sort of situation, if I wasn't on a remote island, which would be amazing, obviously, but I would say just whatever makes you comfortable. So it really depends on the person's lifestyle before they go to retire. So I would say if you're earning $50,000 a year and you're content with $50,000 a year, then that would be your number. If your lifestyle is a bit more extravagant and you've got more sort of outgoings, I suppose, and you have a different taste of how you want to live, then that might be $200,000. Everyone's different. It could be $500,000. All I would say from that is literally work backwards from that. So you work backwards from that number, and that's all I did with my investment strategy when I first started. It was like, how much money do I need to survive if I was to stop work tomorrow? And then you just sort of work backwards from there. So whether that be investments into businesses, into property, into commercial, into obviously watches are not asset producing, but like income producing assets. But yeah, it's something that you can you just got to work backwards from your numbers. It's not a difficult thing. Like people overcomplicate that, I think, I would say. It's
a logical way of looking at it.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was pretty cool that you said, just get some coconuts off a tree and do some fishing.
Yeah.
Start off with.
Why not?
Yeah,
and then work from there.
Yeah,
and see how big your hut needs to be after that.
I like the fact that you said work backwards. Like if $200,000 is what you think is a lifestyle you want, then how do you get there?
Yeah. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Now, what financial trend do you think is overrated? Some people think crypto and NFTs.
Yeah, I mean, with those, I'm not really too familiar with sort of crypto and NFTs, and I do know people that have lost money on those and made money as well. But yeah, I think probably dollar cost averaging is my biggest. It's not really a trend, but it's sort of a buzzword that people sort of throw around. And I think unless you can be very disciplined in your investment ethos and the way that you actually approach that, then I don't think that works for most people. Because obviously trying to eke out an hour of your time every week or every month to like sort of take that money out of your account and invest it back into something else, I don't think that really works for the majority of people, or the majority of people are not disciplined enough to actually follow that. I think if you can take your money and either take it pre-tax in the form of obviously super contributions, or if you can invest into an index fund like say a Vanguard broad-based income index fund, and you can just push your money into that every month and let them do that job for you, I think that's probably a better option than actually trying to take the money out yourself and do it that way.
Australia does reward you taking pre-income tax into super, and they tax you a bit less. Is UK something?
It's similar, but because I haven't really worked that much in that market, like I'd assume it's very similar to that. Yes. Yeah.
You also mentioned that you worked a little bit in Greece.
Yeah.
And a little bit in America. Must be quite interesting to cover so many different countries.
Yeah. I just like meeting different people and learning about different cultures and meeting new people, I suppose. You
ultimately settled in Australia because. Is it because Specsavers said?
It's mainly my business that's tied me here and anchored me here, and now I'm sort of in Melbourne, obviously because yeah, it's just a business that's sustained itself for the last 12 years, and it will continue to sustain itself for however long, and that's probably where I see myself sort of short to medium term at least anyway. Yeah.
Is there a money saving tip that sounds good in theory but often fails in practice?
Money saving, yeah, no coffees and avocado on toast. I think asking those type of questions for someone is a bit difficult. Like, yeah, trying to sort of cut all of those things out of your life, I don't think it works. And that's getting back to what we were talking about before with the 4 bucket rule. You need some money that you need for yourself, because if you have all of them other things set up in the first place, and they're all ticking away in the background, and you're sort of taking your money out every week, and it's all obviously scheduled within your accounts, then you need to enjoy your money as well. Like, it's not all about spreadsheets and numbers, like, and what am I going to live on when I retire. It's about being in the moment as well, and obviously having that extra money there that you can spend on yourself. Don't kill yourself trying to save all of this money. Like, you see these people that sort of live at home and live in a basement and stuff, trying to save money to buy a house or whatever it may be, or save up for something like that. That to me makes no sense. Like, you're not living in the moment, you're not enjoying the process and enjoying the journey as well.
So, like, identify the needs and the wants. Like, what can you still enjoy a little bit, but not frivolously waste resources? But you know, it's not about just saving.
No, I think 10 to 20% of your income, if you can enjoy that part of it, then I think that's definitely something that's sustainable for most people. But if they don't have that set up in the first place, most people don't even understand how much money they actually earn and how much money they spend. You have to sort of, you might have to take a bit of time away from that and sort of work it all out, but once you've got your numbers, you know your numbers, and then you can sort of work backwards from there. And it's the same thing as before, knowing what you need and working backwards from there.
What's the most interesting pitch you've ever received for a business idea? Or boring ones?
Yeah, I haven't really seen many interesting ones. I'd probably invest in those if I got some interesting ones. Boring ones is like your usual sort of like buy a business, employ some people, and obviously, just sort of take the earnings from it. I would love people to pitch me on certain ideas and definitely be involved with that. But yeah, usual sort of stuff like your tag and testing, like sort of rental businesses, buying laundromats, stuff like that. That's boring sort of stuff. But yeah, I mean, even that type of stuff, you'll make money from it. But yeah, no, I haven't had any interesting ones, no. Which I would like some though. If you've got some, I'm happy to share.
Let me think about it. I've got some interesting ones, and I wouldn't mind your opinion on it. Yeah. For a later date.
Okay.
If you had to start a new business, let's say with $1,000 or minimal funds, and let's say you can go back a few years, let's say in your 20s, what would you choose to do other than the optical retail?
So I could take my knowledge that I've got now and go back in time.
Take a knowledge.
I would probably say now I see the most probably opportunity in social media, because the cost of entry to market is so little that you can literally set up a Shopify, like you can set up a shop online, you can build yourself a website for next to nothing, you can build your funnel through social media, so whether that be Instagram, TikTok, wherever it comes from, build your funnel from there, and sort of you can funnel your customers into that with probably about $1,000. I would say you might not even need that, to be honest. Like, you've got all these free apps that are out there now. But yeah, for me, I'll probably go on social media, find the niche and find people's pain points and work backwards from there and go, right, okay, well, can I solve this problem? Is this something that most people want to buy, or is it going to fix a lot of people's problems? If it's just going to fix your own problem, that's not going to work, obviously. And I think a lot of people in business, they sort of get fixated on their own little problems, and that's why most businesses fail as well, because it's not a broad-based business.
Like, maybe find a problem that people need assistance with, and then
like your general sort of stuff with social media is usually fitness, motivation, and then you've got sort of your suppose supplements and things like that people go into as well. But yeah, I would say most of them sort of things, find the niche and sort of work at that.
Are you one to like multitask or invest in multiple things or start multiple businesses, or you like to focus on one, really master one before you jump out and start another one?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Like, I'm invested in multiple things, but it didn't happen all at once. So for me, like, I'm very much, I like to focus on one thing, learn about that sort of subject matter first, invest into it, get to a certain number. So like for me, I'm very numbers orientated. So for me, I would look at, say, an investment into property, for instance, and I would say, right, my sort of cut-off point may be $2 million in this particular project, invest that $2 million, and then move on to the next thing.